Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our GBC Tech Training Virtual Open House. Today we are here to provide a forum for you to ask questions about any of our GBC Tech Training programs and to try and provide you with context and detailed information about our programs to help you in your search for information about training options for you. My name is Scott Duncan. I'm the manager of business development in the group. Today, I'm accompanied by a number of people. Geet Amin is going to help today with the discussion. Geet, say hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Geet. I work as a senior technical consultant here at the college.
Great. Geet's one of the guys that you would get if you were a student and called in for support. Also in the background is Iris. Iris is answering questions in the chat so that as you submit questions in that format, we answer some of them on the fly and we save some of them up to be tabled to me or to Geet. Say hi, Iris.
Good afternoon.
And we also have Saba, one of our marketing assistants who's working in the background to monitor Zoom and make sure we're up and running. So that's our team here today to try and create a great exchange of information. This is our first time working with Zoom as a platform for these kind of events. We've used others in the past and we're migrating to Zoom. So bear with us. I think we got it figured out, but it's always a little bit of a challenge when you first do it. You learn a lot as you go through this. So bear with us if any technical difficulties arise. Before we get going with our Q&A open house session, I did want to make one brief announcement, something we're very, very excited about. We've launched a new program and it officially launched yesterday. The website went live yesterday, which allows people to find information about our programs and register and do everything that you need to do if you're a student in that program. So the electric vehicle technician certificate program is what I'm talking about. It's a very exciting program aimed at automotive technicians and electricians primarily, but also general people who want to get into the EV support and infrastructure industry to train on electric vehicles and related technologies and charging stations in this exploding world of EVs that we're living in. So you'll hear more from us about that in the future, particularly if you're signed up for our newsletter. And or request information about that through the website. Website's evtechnician.com if you want to find out more, or feel free to throw in a question or two about it as we go forward today. So our plan for today is we're going to take about 30 minutes to go over questions. We've got a bunch that have been pre-submitted that we will address from people who submitted them earlier. We'll intersperse the live questions that are coming in through chat. We may group some of them together a bit because they often do overlap. So bear with us if we're combining kind of two questions and you're one of them. But the real critical piece of the puzzle is that you post questions in the chat to stimulate this conversation. We're here for you today. We don't want to. We're not here to tell you what we want, what we think you want to hear. We're here to answer questions and help you learn more about our program. So don't be shy. Submit the questions in the chat, and we'll do everything we can to get to them. We have a 30-minute window scheduled, but frankly, we can go longer than that. If you guys are interested and want to stick around with questions, we'll go pretty much as long as you have questions and want us to go. So to get to the chat group, if you've never worked with Zoom chat before, you just go to the control bar, the Zoom control bar, and there's a bubble, and that bubble says chat. Click on that, and you'll see the chat window. Type the message in the bottom, hit enter, and the chat will feed the group chat. You'll see the sequence of chats that have come before you and any exchanges with Iris as we go forward. So that's the plan. I think that's the intro. Let's get to some questions. Oh, one more thing, just to let you guys know, we are recording the session today for follow-up. We want to make sure that we get back to everybody and don't miss anything in the process, and for possible use in the future in our promotion of our programs. So with that said, let's go to some questions. I'm gonna kick the first one over to you, Geet. I'd like you to tackle an email from Che that came in a couple days ago about the PLC program.
Sure. Thank you, Scott. So the question here we have from Che is he's asking if the PLC program that we offer is considered a one-year program if he completes in 32 weeks, and if this program is recognized by IRCC. IRCC is more like Immigration Canada. So hi, Che. I'm assuming you're asking this question to find out if our program will qualify you to get a postgraduate work permit in Canada. Unfortunately, the answer is no. The IRCC requirement to qualify for a postgraduate work permit is that international students need to be enrolled in a full-time program that is at least 8 months in duration. And our program, our PLC program that you're asking about, falls under the part-time category. The 32 weeks to complete the program is the average time that we have calculated based on the students taken this program and graduated in the past. However, the PLC program, in fact, all our programs are very flexible and self-paced. One can finish the program in 4 weeks if they like, or take 4 years. It's totally up to you. There is absolutely no predetermined deadline imposed from our end. So I would say it may not qualify for postgraduate work permit if you are an international student looking to take this program and fall under the category of IRCC international work permit.
Thank you, Geet. I got to move on to a question from, there's no name here, but GK at Gmail. So GK is interested in the training location for the program and the costs of PLC and PLC2 and the duration. So I'll kind of hit the high points of that. So with respect to location, the location is online. You study the program where you are at your home, on your computer, on your time, where you can work it in. So you are the driver of those choices. You don't ever come into the college to fulfill any requirements that we have. Our program is completely distance education based and online. So that's the simple answer to that, giving you the flexibility to work on the program on your own time, on your own hours. You could spend from 9 o'clock at night until midnight, 3 days a week, or you could spend a weekend working on it. You can do exams whenever you log in, you download an exam and test out. Our program is all about being flexible, not being tied to particular location. The cost of the programs, PLC 1 and PLC 2, $1,700. I recommend you take a good look at the plctechnician.com website, and you can see more of the details. That breaks down in terms of the curriculum material and the modules, but that's the whole cost, $1,700. We've got some supplemental resources that you can buy, but it's not required. And for $170, you can get a textbook if that might be of use to you. The duration of the programs, again, it's not tied to our schedule; it's tied to yours. Geet mentioned that some people take 4 weeks. We often have skilled technicians, new Canadians coming into the program who've worked in these areas for quite a while, and they can go through the program quite quickly because they've worked in it before and they've been trained in it before. So they can work through our program and get their certificate in a fairly short term. And then we have other people who take a long time. We don't encourage you take a long time, but we have built flexibility in as the foundation of our program so that you could work hard for 2 months and complete 8 modules in 2 months. And then you could take your summer off, or you could change jobs and need to focus on other things. I mean, there's many circumstances that allow you to that control your time. So we're flexible around that, and it's up to you to determine how quickly you want to go through the program and complete the program. Let's go to our question, Geet, from Lester.
Thank you, Scott. So the question we have from Lester is, it's a very short question. It is, how does everything work? So I'm just going to maybe address, I'm assuming he meant to say how our program is offered and how we can get started. So all our technical training programs are offered in a web-based format. That means once you register into the program, you can get started right away. There is nothing that you will have to wait to arrive in mail. It's actually very user-friendly. It's very easy to enroll into one of our programs. You can register through our website or do it over the phone with where you can talk to our program consultants if you have any question, and then they can help you to register as well. Once you register into our program, we will process your registration within 1 business day, at most 2, sometimes if you register later in the day. And then once we process your registration, we will email you the link to download the software package. This package includes the course curriculum software as well as the simulation tools. And once you install this on your computer, you can jump right into it. You can begin your studies right away. The simulation tools that we offer that comes along with the program are industry standard simulation tools, which will help you to gain hands-on practical experience. So as we all know, for technical training programs like PLC, robotics, automation, electric vehicle, that we offer that too, it is very important to have the hands-on practical experience to get a job in the manufacturing sector. Now, our programs are specifically designed keeping that in mind. They're offered in a hybrid structure where it will teach you all the theory, but at the same time, anything you're learning in the theory, you'll be able to apply that knowledge using the simulation software to get that hands-on practical experience. One more thing I would mention here is about the student support. We know that our program is fully online, but that doesn't mean there is no student support available. In fact, student support is one of the very important reasons our programs are very popular. There are many ways you can get support. We have a dedicated toll-free support line that you can call us to talk to support advisors directly, or you can email us your questions if you would prefer that way. We also have a student forum in the resource center where you can interact with other students taking the same program or ask your question directly to the advisor. And our support center is open extended hours from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. Monday to Friday, and on weekends 9 to 5. So this helps students who work full-time during the day and study in the evening and on weekends. So I hope I answered your question, Lester, here.
Thank you, Geet. So Geet, just so you know, I'm hearing something funny in your voice. It seems like your audio was being compressed and speeding up and slowing down a little bit. You broke up a little bit for me. That's what I was hearing. I just wanted to confirm whether or not Savar or Iris, did you hear that as well?
No, his audio was fine for me.
Okay,
Yeah,
then maybe
same
that
as
was
well.
my connection. Okay, good. So so we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Let me move on to the next question. It's from Colin. Is there job placement when you finish the course of study? The answer is no. We don't have job placement. That's not the nature of our program. Like some programs. It would be very impractical for us to do that because we're a distance education computer-based program. We have students primarily all across North America, from Texas to Newfoundland. We have students out on oil rigs. We do have students in Europe and Australia as well. Students study the program remotely from wherever they live and work through their course of study. So it's not practical for us to try and do job placement for people scattered around the world, and it's not really what we do. The good news is we do have a career emphasis as well, because our program is very, very focused on manufacturing and on job skills. We do have one element of our support system that facilitates jobs, and that's in our private Facebook group, where it is private for our students and for our alumni. So alumni stay in the program. It's where students can converse with each other, and it is where we post job postings that we obtain from companies. So we deal with a lot of companies. We deal with a lot of directly, because they have employees working and training using our software, and others where they're looking for trained technicians in these areas, and they send us job postings. Those postings go into our private Facebook group, so you'll get a chance to see some very, very focused job postings in the chat in the Facebook group. And you're wired into a network of both other students, and many of them are working in the business and are aware of opportunities, as well as graduates who are certainly out there in the workforce, who can feed that kind of information and provide a bit of career guidance and sometimes job postings as well for our students. So that's how we handle that stuff.
Scott, we have a number of questions, so I'm going to jump in and start.
Sure.
And I'm going to direct the first one to you. What type of PLCs are you going to cover in the class? I believe we covered how long is the class, which is 32 weeks part-time study, and is 1,700 for both PLC 1 and PLC 2. That's the first question, Scott. And once you're done, I'll feed you another question.
Sorry, so you already answered the second part of that, right?
No, it's what type of PLCs are you going to cover in the class? And is 1,700 for both PLC 1 and 2?
Yes, it is. The price is $1,700. Keith, I'm going to let you talk about the PLCs. You're better.
So I'm just going to clarify. The $1,700 is for each program.
Yes.
So $1,700 for PLC 1. There's overlapping modules. But if you were to jump into PLC 2, it would also be $1,700. Sorry, go ahead, Guy.
Thank you, Iris. Right, so the PLC technician programs, PLC 1 and 2 that we offer, they're both based on Allen Bradley PLCs, one from Rockwell Automation. PLC 1 is the introduction. It is based on Allen Bradley 500 series, the SLC 500, while PLC 2 is the advanced PLC program, which is based on the 5000 series. You will be learning RS Logics 5000 technology in PLC Technician 2 program. Our programs are heavily focused on teaching you the ladder logic programming. So while you're both are PLC 1 and 2, they are heavily focused on teaching you the ladder logic programming. So while you're taking the course, you go through different modules, and you'll come across more than 150, 200 pre-built lab projects, which will open up using the industry standard simulation tools. And these simulation tools are based on the Rockwell emulator. So if you look at the PLC Logics 5000 that comes along with the PLC Technician 2 program, the interface of that simulation program will look very much similar to Studio 5000. So when you graduate from one of our PLC program, and if you're going to work in a manufacturing environment where you will have to work on one of the Rockwell's Allen Bradley PLC, and you'll be using their emulator, you will not find it very different. There will be a very easy transition from our simulation software to theirs, and that way you will easily be able to start working with the training that you receive from our programs.
Thank you, Geet. There's another question that I'm going to direct to you as well. Stephen asks, are there any special software requirements to run the curriculum on a personal computer?
Sure. We'll answer that, Stephen, for you. The biggest requirement that we ask from our students is that they will need a computer running Windows operating system. Our programs, all our programs are strictly Windows based. Therefore, they will not work on Mac OS, Linux, those mobile friendly computers like running Chrome OS, or any tablets that are not running Windows operating system. It would not work on those. As long as you're using a computer, desktop, laptop, or a tablet running full Windows operating system, you will be able to install our programs on it and use it. All our programs are offered in a web-based format, which requires an internet connection to access the curriculum software. The simulation tools are installed locally on your computer, so you will not need internet to access the simulation tools. So you can practice your, if it's a PLC, you can practice ladder logic programming. If it's robotics, you can practice your robotics programming offline as well. All our programs are CPU intensive. They're not graphics intensive, so you will not need one of those fancy expensive computer with a dedicated graphics card. As long as you have a simple computer with a decent processor like Intel i3, i5, or i7, or if you have AMD based computer, then maybe Ryzen 3, Ryzen 5, or Ryzen 7, or any equivalent processor will be good enough to run our PLC, robotics, and automation technician programs. There is a little bit of higher RAM requirement for PLC, robotics, and automation. You'll need a computer with 4 GB RAM, but again, this is very minimal. Most of the computers out there comes with 4 GB as the minimum RAM. Since PLC, robotics, and automation use the simulation tools that are based on 3D modeling, the PLC logics, it comes with 11 different 3D worlds where you will learn how to program, for example, a warehouse door or a bottle line plant or a conveyor car wash, and all those kind of 3D modeling tools. And that's why you need a little decent processor and a higher RAM like 4 GB to run them. But electronics, electromechanical, and electric vehicle technician programs, they don't need even 4 GB RAM. Even a simple 2 GB RAM and Intel based Pentium processor is good enough to run and install those programs.
Thank you, Geet. Scott, I'm going to throw the next question over to you. Anil asks, when in pursuit of a distance education program, can one acquire study time off from one's employer to increase focus on studies?
Yeah, good question. The challenge of pursuing continuing education when you're working is often very daunting, and it's a difficult challenge many people struggle with, and our program is a great option for people who need that flexibility. Our program can be studied on your schedule, evenings, weekends. If your shift is mornings, you can work on it in the afternoon. If it's your shift or midnights, you can work on it during the days. It's very flexible. You can drop in and out of it at all times. So in that way, you can work around your job very directly within the schedule that you currently have, assuming you can fit it into your life and family and all that good stuff. Obviously, that's a really important driver too. But that doesn't address your question. Question is, are employers willing to provide the opportunity to give you time to study a program and recognize the benefit of training for themselves, and thereby give you that time? We have experience with companies who have done that. There are some who are progressive and really invested in training staff and do take that approach, and they do sometimes give their employees time. In some organizations, some union contracts within large organizations, sometimes there's time built in for education and training that is paid time. So the answer is yeah, it's definitely clearly an advantage to the company to have a well-trained person working for them, and particularly in areas where they need people. And some companies, I say some, not all, some companies will recognize that, and it's up to you to work that out with your company. But we certainly have that experience where some companies do it.
Keith, the next question is from Merrick. He asks, how can I become a robot technician without having an opportunity to touch a teach pendant?
Sorry about that. I was on mute. I didn't realize. Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, our program, the simulation software that we offer with our robotics technician program, it's called Robo Logics. It comes with 4 different environments, and all of them have the teach pendant where you will be using it to program the robot. The 4 different environments that we offer on the Robo Logics is pick and place robot, the spray painting, spot welding, and the arc welding environment. And throughout the course material, while you study the robotics technician, you will be you'll be learning about all these different technologies. You'll come across different pre-built lab projects which will teach you how to program a pick and place robot. For example, there will be a lab project which will show you how to pick up boxes from one conveyor belt, either drop it on the pallet in a different pattern, or you drop it on another conveyor belt, and you can do all this sort of programming using the teach pendant and the UI available on the Robo Logics simulation software. Same applies to the painting robot, the welding robot, and everything. It's very interactive. You will get all the needed hands-on practical experience using the simulation tools. And best part of the simulation programs is they have lifetime license to it. So even after you graduate from our program, the curriculum software as well as the simulation software, they're yours to keep. You can continue to use it as long as you have it installed on your computer. A lot of our students, we hear it as a feedback. They continue to use our PLC Logics and Robo Logics simulation tools even after they graduate. And if there's something that they have to do it at their workplace, they'll try to run it on a simulation tool on their computer first to get a sight of what to expect before they apply it in the real world.
Geet, a question that's similar along the same lines is in the robotics technician course. Sean asks, how much coverage is on the welding application?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, Sean. We do cover a lot of welding application. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the robot that is part of our program is the spot welding and arc welding. So there will be a lot of lab projects that will teach you how to train, how to program a robot in order to do a spot welding, or if it's an arc welding lab project that you're studying, it will show you instructions on how to do a arc welding. This is all done on a lot of car manufacturing industries like Tesla, Ford. They all use different kind of robots. So for example, they have a robot to spray paint their car doors or car body. They have different welding robots to weld the car door to the car. So our Robo Logics environment, it has a car, and you will learn how to perform different kind of welding instructions on it.
Back to you, Iris.
I don't have any more submitted questions on the chat. So if you have any other pre-submitted, oh, I do, sorry. Can I apply directly to any company that is looking for industrial robot technician? And this is from Eric's. So
I'm just looking for, is that a new one? I'm just looking in the
yeah,
chat.
it's at the very end. And it's,
Right.
I guess, after taking the robotics program, can I apply directly?
All right, I see it. Yeah. So, good question. Merrick's it's a very general kind of request to be able to apply to any industrial robot technician job. What I have to say is it depends. The technician program is something that we have a lot of, like we have students who have a lot of different kind of backgrounds that come into it. So we'll have an electronics technician who's helping install robots in their company, and they take the robotics technician so that they can learn about the robotics environment so that they can extend their work as a technician in their company. They may require that robotics experience to get the job in the company, but they were already an electrician or a millwright or an electronics technician. So many scenarios arise. So the answer is your background is going to really drive just how directly you can move into a position like that. If you are looking for a job in a company, and again, if there's entry-level kind of service roles in some companies, because there's so many robots now, in Amazon or in logistics companies, they hire people called robotic technicians who service and supply that robotics environment. Or maybe to Geet's earlier example, it's a paint robot or a welding robot, and there's a technician who services the robot to keep it working in this context of an assembly line. There's not a lot of, they're not the ones programming the robot, they're not the ones installing the robot, they're the ones servicing the robot. So for them, and depending on whatever background they had, but maybe not as well defined as a technician background, plus the robotics technician might give them enough experience to move into one of those positions. So it's the answer. I'm sorry if I'm not saying yes or no, but it depends, because of the nature of the broad range of robotics technicians out there. Our program will give you a certain set of skills and knowledge and practical insight into the workings of robots. It will train you how to program basic robotic functions and sequences of actions. And if that's what you need to step into that position, the answer is yes. Others have more demanding requirements, and the answer might be no. So it's not one answer for all, but what we can say is our program serves a lot of people's needs. If you look at our testimonial sections in our website, you'll hear stories of all sorts of people who've taken our programs and got a job or got a raise or got an opportunity to take on more responsibility because they've trained up in this area and taken our certificate to their boss and said, this is what I've done, and move forward.
Geet, Sean is asking, with regard to the robotics program, does it cover more than just the automotive sectors? He was specifically asking about structural steel application.
So it covers, it's very generalized. I mean, we don't only focus on automotive. If you look at the pick and place robot, it's based on the Fanuc LR Mate series robot, and even the entire program. All the instructions, we don't like, if you take an example of PLC, our PLC programs are focused on Allen Bradley PLC. I mean, our robotics is not It's very general. I mean, the pick and place robot arm, if you look at it, it's based on the Alarmate series robot, the Fanuc Alarmate. But overall, it's very generalized. You'll learn the instructions that can be applied on other robots as well. What I can do is maybe, Iris, we can post a link to our Robo Logics playlist that we have on our YouTube channel. It will give an idea to maybe to Sean on different kind of applications that our Robo Logics simulation software is able to perform, and that is something we cover in the computer-based training material as well.
Okay, I'll get to that in a second, or maybe Shimona, if you could help find that and help me out here. There's another question from Eric's asking about, he works at Magna, where there are a lot of robot technicians, and he'd like to be like them. He'd like to be a robotics technician. And can our programs help him out?
Sure, I'll take that. Yes, absolutely. It is, our program will give you a good solid understanding of how robotic systems work, how you program a robot. It will prove to your manager and management that you're interested in the area. It will give you, a strong footing to explore the positions that they have available in Magna. The answer is yes, absolutely. The training that might be required at Magna, I mean, it's a hard question to answer, because at some point they may be training them, the more advanced training may be required on a particular robot to get a certain, to fulfill a certain jobs. But the bottom line is, you need a foundation like our program to give you to provide you with a solid foundation in the theory and practice and application of robots in manufacturing. That's what we do. We then supplement that with lab experience of actually programming robots and their behavior. So yes, the answer is it will help you. I can't guarantee it's going to give you a job, in 6 months, specifically at Magna, but I know that it's going to get you very close to it might get your hat in the ring. And what I would advise is maybe take our program, take a screenshot of the curriculum, or get the information package, and talk to your manager, talk to other people in the Magna workforce. Maybe talk to their HR department, find out, ask them. They're going to be able to map very quickly between what we provide and what they're looking for. And even if it's not perfect, what it's going to do, it's going to show that you're interested in training, and you're committed to the company, you're committed to your career in technology. And that in itself may be enough to put you on the right track to get the job.
Right, and if I could add one more thing to that, maybe I will answer Sean's earlier question as well. So you know how in a robotics manufacturing environment, the technician will be holding a teach pendant in their hand, and then jogging the robot to do a specific task. All that is done with the Robo Logics simulation software. So there is a software-based teach pendant. As soon as you launch the simulation tool, you will see the teach pendant right at the bottom, and you will be able to jog your robot. And outside of the pre-built lab projects that we offer, all our simulation tools, so you can use it to create your own programs from scratch. If it's a PLC, you can do the ladder program. If it's a robotics, you can create your own pick and place program from scratch and perform any specific task you like.
There is one more question. At Magna, they use Allen Bradley, ABB, and Fanuc robots. They said your program needs more hands-on. Can you address our simulation software and how it provides virtual hands-on experience?
Right, Merrick. So if you click on the link, I think Shimona or maybe Iris posted in the chat group, you will be able to see all the
In this tutorial animation.
sorry, or maybe I can post. Yeah, it's the right link. I just clicked on it. It's a playlist which will show you different kinds of application that are Robo Logics. You will learn in our Robo Logics. This is just an example and a brief introduction to all those applications. But throughout the course, you will be learning a lot more than that. You will. You're not just using the simulation tool, but you are also going through the course material, which is very much in a hybrid structure with the simulation tool. So you learn different, something like end effectors and all those different technical terms throughout the program. And while you're learning them, you apply the same knowledge using the simulation tool that comes with the program.
And maybe I can add one thing. When you're sitting in a classroom, and especially these days with classrooms being on and off, you're working in groups of people. So you're not going to be the one who's actually got your hands on the robot. You're going to be doing that with a group of people. With our program and the simulation software, your computer becomes a virtual robot and a virtual robotic arm, and so you get to do things over and over again without breaking anything, or if you do it wrong, you can start over again.
Merrick, let me just jump onto that question with one final comment. Again, depending on the jobs that you're talking about with Magna, the position that you've talked to them about might be more of an engine, like a robotics engineer, where the programming they're doing high-end programming on a more advanced robot. It's very possible that people who are trained in that area, they'll go on a 2-week training course at at a training company or at a robotics company and learn a very specific piece of equipment to do certain very specific things. It's the way technology training has always been done for employed technicians over the years. They may require something to that degree of more advanced hands-on training. I'll tell you though, Merrick, our program will give you that foundation to get you started in it. And yeah, maybe you then have to go and do some more advanced hands-on to be the guy that gets the job. But it's a pathway to get you there. So we're not perfect. We don't do everything. Ours is not a one-shot solution to a job, directly to a job in that case. But it'll start moving you there. Okay, Iris?
I think something just popped up. If you just give me a sec. Hi there, I'm in South Africa. It's and already have an electromechanical certificate and an electronics certificate. If I'm completing my electronics engineering diploma, if I immigrate to Canada, can easily get a job with these certificates. Are they recognized by IRCC? This is a question I guess we had answered at the top of the open house GEET. So it's again, do you want to just give a quick summary of the IRCC and the requirements?
Sure. Yeah. Why not? You're right. We did address this right at the beginning of our open house session. So if I'm familiar, if you're asking the question in terms of getting a postgraduate work permit after graduating from this program, unfortunately, the answer is no. The requirement for that is you have to enroll into one of the full-time program. and the length of the program has to be at least 8 months in duration. But our program, all our programs, electronics or PLC or the other 5, they all fall under the part-time category, and there is no predetermined deadline imposed by us. So one can finish a program in 4 weeks, or they can take 32 weeks, the average time that we have calculated based on the students taken this program in the past. So it will not help you to get the postgraduate work permit from IRCC after you graduate, but this is something that will help you to get into the field of manufacturing environment.
That's all the questions we have posted, Scott, and we're already at 15 minutes over our allotted time.
Right. So I think we're going to wrap up on that. Thank you, everyone, for a good, lively conversation with some great questions. We hope we've been able to answer them reasonably well for you. If you have supplemental questions or need more information, as Iris responded to Merrick's in the chat, please give us a call. We've got some really well-trained and knowledgeable people. Angelo Valucos is mentioned in the chat. He's very experienced, and he can help fill in more details and be useful to help you understand what the context is in terms of our programs and the opportunities they provide. So I really recommend that if you take advantage of our resources. We've got some great people, and we can fill in more details and help you make a decision on how you need to move forward with your training. Our programs might be a solution for that. They might not, but let us help you along on your way to finding your path to your next position or career change. We're going to wrap on that. I think that the follow-up will include some email for some people, and we'll post this video so you can review it again if you want to recap some of the discussion and questions. Our phone number is there. That's for North America. It's toll free, or our email is there. Feel free to contact us, talk to us, and we hope we can help you learn more about our programs to figure out if it will work for you or not. Let's wrap it on that. Anything else, Geet, just to wrap comments?
No, I think this is good. It was a really lively conversation we had. It was very engaging. That's great.
Thank you very much, everyone. We're gonna end this session now. Have a great day, and we look forward to hopefully talking to you again soon. Thank you.